It's a Tuesday. It's raining out. Actually, it's supposed to be raining all week here. And above all, I feel better. So hell yeah, we are back. So guys, today we're going to be talking about the Canon RF 2870 f2 lens. A couple months ago, I did a video about the Canon, actually this guy right here, the 15 to 35 f2.8. If you recall that video, I talked about how this lens had tipped me over to the Canon side. And at the time, guys, I spoke of it being the only lens I needed for the EOS R, which is what we're filming on right now. But things have changed. Now, don't get me wrong, the 1535 is a fantastic lens. It's an amazing lens, actually. But now that I have the RF 2870 f2, I have a new favorite lens. Now, if you hang around with me to the entire video, you're gonna learn exactly why the 2870 f2 has replaced the 1535 2.8 as my most used lens in my camera bag. Well, let's say you pull up a seat and let's go. To kick things off, let's start talking about the 2870 specs. First off, guys, it's a full frame RF mount. Just like the other RF lenses, the larger diameter mount has proven to be invaluable for getting better quality images, especially when you look at the edges of your shots. Likewise, with all the contact in the RF mount, this lens is more powerful and has much more bandwidth that improves performance. You're out talking about a 2870 focal length, which gives you tons of versatility, even though you're missing the extra 4 millimeters of the wide side that you would typically get in a 2470 lens. There is no image stabilization, which is a bummer for some folks, but for me, it's not really a huge deal. When I'm shooting video, it's on a tripod. When I'm out shooting landscapes, most of the time it's on a tripod, so not a big deal. It has 19 elements in 13 groups, it has weather sealing, has a 95 millimeter filter size. Yeah, that's a big filter size, Batman. You're talking about 5.5 inches in length compared to the 4.99 inches of the 15 to 35 2.8 here. It is a beast, guys. It's 3.15 pounds compared to this one, which is 1.85 pounds. So yeah, it's a big ass lens. Now let's break down some of the specs and explore the pros and the cons and looking at the build quality, handling, and image quality. All right, pros and cons. First, let's talk about the pros. The image quality, guys, is absolutely spectacular and the sharpness is on point, as pretty much you would expect with an RF lens. Beautifully shallow depth of field, which gives the photos kind of a 3D feel because the subject is nicely separated from the background. It's versatile, so you can use this lens instead of multiple prime lenses, and you can do so without sacrificing image quality or sharpness. You get a fast f2 aperture, which usually you only see in prime lenses, and that's combined with a 2870 focal length. Come on, how awesome is that? It's a fantastic video lens, which, guys, I use this lens almost exclusively for all my videos these days. But perhaps the best pro of this lens is something that is still coming up. The EOS R is nowhere near the camera that can realize the potential of this lens. But with the EOS R5 on the horizon, guys, I can hardly contain my excitement for what this lens and that camera will be able to do together. Actually, I think we need a moment of silence just to reflect on how awesome that is going to be. Man, it's like marshmallows and chocolate. I don't even like marshmallows, but you get the point. It's going to be an awesome combination. But guys, this isn't a perfect lens. There are a few things that aren't exactly ideal. First off, this thing is heavy as f***. You can do curls with this thing. There's no image stabilization. It's expensive. The 95 millimeter filter thread limits your filter options. Having said all that, the pros definitely outweigh the cons for me. There's just too much that this lens can do and do well for me to worry about its biggest filter thread, its weight, and the other cons that I mentioned already. Let's take a look at the build and handling. As you would expect with an RF lens, the build quality is, guys, it's spot on. Sure, it's big and heavy, but that just means it contains excellent optics for creating breathtaking images. The weather sealing construction is a definite bonus for me since I shoot a lot of landscapes and film outdoors, and all kinds of weathers and situations. So yeah, bonus. There are no worries for rain, dust, or sand, or snow getting in this lens thanks to the internal seals that protect the lens inside. The front and rear elements also have Florentine coating to repel moisture and grease. Now, in terms of handling, guys, this lens is a dream. Put aside the weight, it's a beast, but it is great to handle. It's smartly designed and intuitive, which makes handling it in the field a great experience. Guys, just like my 1535 here, the 2870, which again we're filming on right here, has this customizable control ring right on the front that can be used to control aperture, ISO, shutter speed, white balance, or whatever else you want to control with it. The autofocus system is also superb. It's extremely fast, very quiet, and is great for video work. Another bonus of the autofocus system is that you can zoom without having to constantly refocus. This is an ideal situation for shooting video. All right, let's jump over to image quality. The image quality with this lens is just incredible. You'll find that it offers excellent sharpness, guys, throughout its aperture range, even when shooting at wide open in f2. Now the sharpness is better in the center, but around the edges, there's still nothing to complain about, even at f2. Sharpness does get better as you step down, so what I've found is right around f4 to 5.6 is where the lens really performs in terms of sharpness the best. Distortion is minimal thanks to the in-camera corrections that are available, and if you ask me, guys, vignetting is more than acceptable as well. In fact, given that this lens is f2, the level of vignetting it produces, or kind of the lack of thereof rather, is really quite amazing. In the end, the images that you can capture with this lens, guys, are resolute, sharp, and have gorgeous dynamic range. It's kind of no wonder why so many EOS R shooters out there label this lens as being one of their favorite lenses to shoot with. All right, let's address the big elephant in the room, the price on this lens. Earlier, I offered a rebuttals to most of the cons of this lens, but I can't really get around the fact that this lens has a steep price tag. At $2,999, it is a significant investment of green stuff to get one of these lenses. I mean, my first car, guys, didn't even cost that much. Actually, nowhere even near that. But as often in the case, you have to pay to play, and the Canon RF 2870 f2 definitely knows how to play. As I mentioned earlier, the benefits of this lens outweigh its disadvantages even at the price point that it's at. Besides, professional photographers that invest in this lens will make their money back over the life of this lens many times over. For my money, there's no better lens for the EOS R at the moment than the 28, I almost pointed at this as being the 2870. The 2870 is over there, 1535. Okay, still awesome lens. Anyways, for the EOS R at the moment, the 2870 has to be my favorite. Now, I know I said a couple months ago, guys, that the 1535 was the one lens that I really enjoyed using the most, and I still do, but the 2870 for right now today is the one that's getting the most use. So if you need a lens for EOS R, this is one worth the consideration. Well, that's it for me, guys. I hope you found this video to be enlightening and helpful. Be sure to hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. If you found this video to be helpful, hit the like button, and while you're at it, smash the hell out of the bell button to be notified as we come out with new videos. So I'm gonna head off, and you get out there and create your best shot.